Hey, hello everyone. I welcome you all to today's Saturday Night Live at CSSBattle, and I'm your host Kushagrikar. If you're here, please put a hi in the chat so that I know you all are here. And let me know if my audio and video are fine. I did some setup changes. It's a new system, so I had to set up again. So just let me know if everything is fine, if you're able to hear me correctly. Hello, everyone. Please let me know if you can hear me correctly. I'm waiting for your confirmation, and then we'll wait for a few more minutes to everyone to join, and then we'll start. Hey, Joe. Hello. Thanks for joining in. And good to see you here. I'm a big fan of your live streams that you do, and hats off to your consistency. Like you do videos on almost every daily target. So amazing to see that. Okay, I think we have a few people here. So just to start with a little bit about the channel, if you're new here, we do this Saturday Night Live. Hopefully, it was supposed to be every Saturday, but I try to do it every Saturday. But the idea of the Saturday Night Live is to basically reverse engineer the daily target solutions, the top solutions there, and try to figure out the approaches that these amazing players use to achieve the targets and learn from them. And it's not just about the approaches that are being used. If you have seen our past streams, there is a lot of knowledge that you get about the CSS world too, about the CSS properties, about their values, different values behaving differently in various scenarios. So all that is also there. So yeah, that's the idea. We try to learn together, try to reverse engineer together and learn CSS as a team. Wow, 110 hours of video. Amazing. That's all. Cool. So let's begin. I I didn't have like exact targets in my mind for this stream. Uh, but I remember some discussion around the May 8th target. That was supposed to be a simple one, but uh, some discussion was there on like different approaches that people tried and eventually reached, I think, the same solution, or at least the same approach. So I think that would be a fun target. Looks simple, but we can see what the top players do with it. So yeah, let's open that up. Okay. All right, so I just zoom in a bit so it's readable. Cool. All right, so let's see what's happening here. Gunnar got the first position on this daily target, but if you see the correct account, it's actually everyone is on 82. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, eight of the top solutions are exactly on 82 characters. I'm not sure if the approach is same also, the solution, but yeah, the character count is same. Cool. Let's fire up Kunar's solution and try to dig deeper. What's happening? Let's do some adjustments. Okay, cool. So as we do every time, the first thing we want to do is make it a little readable. Unminify the code. Okay, that's it. So just one rule with three properties, three declarations. So this needs to be closed. And then, yeah. So this is the solution. And then let's comment out everything so that we start uncommenting one by one and see what each declaration is doing, how it helps to achieve the solution. Okay, so the first thing that we notice here is there's just one rule which gets applied to the universal selector, which is star. So that means without any HTML elements here, all we get is a HTML tag and a body, and the three declarations apply to both of them. Cool. I think we should start with background declaration because the other two won't make any sense because they don't change anything on the screen. They are mostly like about the layout, the margin, and the scale. So let's start with this thing. All right. So this is a background being set, and remember, this is being applied to both HTML and body. So star, or we can put it this way. So there's a background, and it sets a background image, which is a radial gradient. And the syntax is typical syntax we can use to create a circle, as we have seen in past debug live streams that we did. Uh, yeah. So this creates a circle using a gradient which goes from 5A9F, which is the light green color, and this would be the radius of the circle. So this color goes up to 30 VW, and then it's all the dark green, which is basically the background around the green circle. So this gradient creates a circle on both HTML and body. Let's also fire up our dev tool, which we'll need anyways. I think this should be okay. Yeah. So if we just inspect here, we should be able to verify there's a knife frame, there's a HTML and a body. So you can see there's nothing inside the body. There's just HTML and this body. So if I hide the body, you can still see the same circle because it's being replicated on both HTML and the body. Cool, so that's verified. And you can see just one declaration getting applied on HTML and the body. Cool, so we have this circle. Let's uncomment out the next declaration. Let's do the margin one. Okay, so this got uncommented, but I don't see any change happening. Okay, so this is supposed to be putting some margin, top-down margin of 3 pixel and then left-right margin of 28 pixel. So probably not something that changes visually, but you can see there's a margin now on both HTML and the body. So HTML, uh, so we know that a positive margin basically pushes the sides inside. So HTML basically got shortened by some amount on all the four directions. So you can see that it's now shrunk a little bit more on the left right sides and less on the top bottom sides. And similarly for body, because HTML got shrunk, the body like shrinks further because of the same margin, right? So now I think with uh, the cascading margins getting applied, the circles shouldn't be exactly at the same position, or should they be? Yeah, I think they would still be at the same positions, overlapping each other. Joe has a comment. If you add 66 to the end of the two color stops, you can visually sort of see how the background gradient is applying. End of the two color stops. Not sure what Joe means here. Is that what you're saying? Okay, I'll wait for the clarification. Um, okay, so yeah, margin basically shorten the dimension of both HTML and body. That's what happened. Uh, but nothing visually changed. So I think we'll have to like move to the scale declaration. That's the only one left now for us to uncomment. Okay, Joe says the radial gradient should be equal to alpha to make. Oh, okay. So he was suggesting to make the color a little transparent. Hmm. Okay. So yeah, that basically like reveals the HTML element also, because now the gradient is little transparent, so you can see what's happening behind. Cool. We'll get back to this like if need be. But yeah, let's move to the last declaration, which is a scale uh, change. So again, this happens on both the tags, and we can see it's 0.645. So that means less than 1, which would reduce the the elements from their current size, right? It's basically shrinking both the elements. So let's turn that on. Okay, whoa. So that got us the target as expected, but let's see what's happening. Okay, let's try to put what Joe was suggesting. Okay, not sure what's happening there. Okay, let's try to figure this out. What's happening? So this is our HTML, this is a body. So let's try to do one thing. Let's bring in scale one by one, maybe, on each element. So what we can do is remove scale from here. So this is what we have without the scale. And let's do one thing. Let's start from body, because that is what you see on the top. And we can visually see the change that scale brings in. Okay. Okay, I think I get what's happening. So, like we do every time, let's try to do this. Let's try to bring in this declaration step by step so we can see uh, what's happening in an animated way. Okay, so this is what the default scale is, 1, which means like the original dimension, right? Original scale. So if we try to reduce the scale slowly, and remember this is just on the body right now. Let's try to bring this down a little bit. Okay, Nothing happened. You see what's happening? So the body is shrinking, right? This was the body. So this will make more sense if I hover over here. So now note that this is the body that is being highlighted, a little bit smaller than the HTML because of the margins that are already in place. So now if I shrink it a bit, so it's 0.9 of the current or of the original dimension. We make it smaller, and you can see now the body has shrunk. So uh, around the body, you can now see the HTML element, which remember also has the same circle um, on it because the radial gradient is applied on both. So the body is being shrunk to a proper dimension, to a proper value, so that now you see you get this square which is encompassing a circle. So that's what we wanted in the target, right? So we created two circles using gradient on both HTML and body, and the body then is shrunk to create this thing. This is the body with the gradient, and it's smaller now because of the scale, and the scale is the right amount required according to this dimension, and it's now inside the circle on the HTML element, right? So this is the circle on the HTML element, and the body is inside it. Cool. So let's try to put in the right. So you can see like um, it's not the right value. I think it was, yeah, 0.645, 0.645. Okay, so this is what it becomes with the scale applied just on the bodies. Remember, this is just on the body because we wanted to see what's happening. But if you put HTML, if you put the scale on HTML also, you can see what's happening. So now when you scale down the HTML tag, remember the body would scale down too because it's inside the HTML tag. So let's do this again step by step. So this is one. This is what the scale on just the body gave us, right? The rectangle, the square inside the circle is not the correct dimension, and it's also not positioned. I mean, it's just about the dimension because it's anyways center. So now if you scale down HTML, the body would scale down too, right? Okay, that's weird. Why doesn't the circle on the HTML tag uh, reduce as well? Why is it not shrinking? That's weird. So no matter how much I shrink the HTML tag, I see. Okay. No, is that the reason? So one of the past streams we learned about the background and how does it work on the body and HTML tags. The thing was if you put a background on the body, it basically gets applied to the HTML tag or the root canvas, unless the HTML tag also has its own background. But that shouldn't be the case here because both HTML and body have their own backgrounds, which is a circle. So HTML does have its own background, but for some reason, if I keep shrinking the HTML tag, its background stays the same. Why is that? Yeah, I'm targeting the right. Let me know if you folks have um, any idea about like what's happening here. Uh, I just I changed the visibility of the HTML element to hidden, and I can still see the circle. What's happening? Is the radial gradient still on something else? Yeah, that's a good idea. So Joe says we can put some different colors. So let's put a blue color on HTML, and we can put a green color on the body. Okay, let's try to remove this. Okay, so this is all we get with the different colors. Now, if I shrink the body, so this makes sense. If I shrink the body, the green rectangle shrinks, which is the body, right? Okay, now let's do the same thing with HTML. So this is what it is right now, scale of 1. If I shrink it, okay. Background color specifically, that will cover whatever was transparent. Mm, isn't this the same thing? I mean, if I give a color value to background, that would get applied to background color, right? Am I missing something? Let me try. Yeah, seems to be the same thing. Uh, okay. So why doesn't HTML shrink? I mean, HTML shrinks because we have the scale less than 1, but we still see the background. So I think it's somewhat on the same lines, the thing that we figured out a few streams back, which is the HTML's background. I think it's not on the HTML, but on the root canvas, which always stays the same. It's not the HTML tag as well. It's something behind uh, the HTML tag, and that gets the background, and so it shows the same way, no matter um, how much you scale the HTML up and down. I think that's the reason, but we can do a quick search and see um, background on HTML tag doesn't change where the I don't know. Mm, let's try resizing. We can search about special case of background on HTML tag. Maybe that gets us something. Mm. There was something in the specification, I think. Um, does anyone have an idea what's happening? Mm, Maybe this has it. Okay, I think not this one. Yeah. This has something about the background on the root tag and the body. Yeah, this one. Okay, so yeah, this is a special case. Background of the root element becomes the canvas background, and its background painting area extends to cover the entire canvas. So probably like this is the thing I was talking about. The canvas or the root element is basically not the HTML element. It's not body. It's something behind it. And whatever background you give to the root element, it becomes the canvas background. And canvas doesn't get resized. Even if you change HTML, even if you resize HTML, it stays the same. It says the background positioning area is determined as for the root element. Um, if we consider root element as the HTML tag, then the HTML tag's background positioning area should have been used. Okay, that is it we have in the specification. There's something here which should explain what's happening. The background of the root element becomes the canvas background, and its background painting area extends to cover the entire canvas. Let's see what is meant by both of these. Root element, the element at the root of the document tree. In HTML, it is the HTML element. Cool. Okay. And this talks about canvas. For our media, the term canvas describes the space where the formatting structure is rendered. The canvas is infinite. Okay, that's interesting. For each dimension of the space, but rendering generally occurs within a finite region of the canvas, established by the user agent according to the target medium. Uh, hey, people. Good to see you here. Yes, if you move and resize the HTML tag, background images will be affected. Do you mean to say not affected? Because that's what we are experiencing. Oh, is my camera stuck? What happened to my camera? Why did it get stuck? Not sure since when it was stuck. Sorry, folks. Let me check what's happening. I think it's the network. Just a second. I'll try something. If that works. Should work now. Yeah, I think it's working now. Okay, let's continue. Where were we? Okay. I was talking about what you read about the root element's background position. Um, yeah, so we were reading about Canvas. For instance, user agents rendering to a screen generally impose a minimum width and choose an initial width based on dimension of the viewport. Agents rendering to a page generally impose width and height constraints. Okay, so I think that's what Canvas means. It's neither HTML nor the background, but it's the whole page that is the canvas. It's infinite as per the specification, but there is generally a constraint which is determined by the viewport. So this is our viewport. That's the canvas, at least the rendering area of the canvas. So whatever you give, whatever background you give to the root element, which is HTML in our case, gets applied to the canvas. I'm still not sure what the documentation says about background positioning area. Um, CPBoo also says if you move and resize the HTML tag, background images will be affected. That doesn't seem to be happening though. Um, let's see. Let's try that out. So this is okay. It won't be visible with our solid colors, so we'll bring back the background radial gradient. Okay, so this is what we have. And if I try to um, move HTML somehow, okay. So HTML, like if it's moved, I'm moving it using margin left. So if I move HTML to some other place, the background position does change along with it. So the background seems to be on the HTML as far as like background positioning is concerned. Okay. Hmm. So it's is it just about the background positioning area? The background positioning area is determined as for the root element. Okay. So does this not account, does it not consider the scale of the HTML element? Because if I change the scale of the HTML element, its background positioning area also reduces. So the circle should have shrunk, but it does not. So is it that the transforms don't change the area? Probably that. Because remember, like the transforms happen as a compositing operation on the GPU. So as far as calculations are concerned, I think the background positioning area would be same for um, like if the canvas has to pick the background positioning area of the root element, it would find the same thing with or without the scale because the transform just uh, happen while the compositing phase. Oh, okay. Transforms apply after layout is set. Cool. Okay, so that's the reason. So background positioning area gets determined, and that's what gets used by the canvas. So that's why scale doesn't do anything. Interesting. That's interesting. And that's being used in the solution. Uh, cool. So let's try to get where we were. and then we'll do a recap. Okay, so this is what we have. So, hey AI Winox, hello. Welcome to the live stream. Thanks for joining in. So we are doing this daily target from May 8th, and we try to figure out some crazy thing happening with the backgrounds on the root element. So here's a short recap of what we have found till now. Um, there's a radial gradient being painted on the HTML and on the body with the background property. And what we learned is the background on the root element gets actually applied to the canvas, which is you can consider it as the viewport on a what do you say, on a website, on a screen. It's the viewport, and that's infinite, but it like renders inside a viewport. So basically, in short, the background of HTML element gets applied to the canvas. And another important information is like now, even if you change the scale or translation or anything, if you do any transformation using the transform property on the root element, there would be no change to the background getting applied on the canvas whatsoever. But um, if you change the background positioning area of the root element somehow, uh, it would like, because the background positioning area of the root element gets used by the canvas, the background on the canvas would change with the change on the root element on the HTML tag. So this is what we have: two same size circles overlapping each other, one on the background, one on the body, one on the HTML tag. And the solution basically uses the scale. What was it? 654? Yeah, something like that. So it shrinks the body tag using the scale transformation. So this gives us this kind of image. And then it uses the scale on HTML as well. It was one declaration on both the tags, but we are just like separating it out to figure out what's happening. So, so this basically gave us clarity that the scale on the body really works, but on the HTML, it's a little tricky. So we'll see here. So the scale on the body reduced uh, body. It shrunk body. You can see like it's this rectangle here. And now if I do it on HTML as well, so see what's happening. If so, the outer circle that you see, that's the circle on the HTML tag, which is essentially on the canvas, right? So if I shrink the HTML tag with the scale, you see what's happening. The outer circle doesn't shrink, and the reason is the outer circle is being drawn on the canvas, and canvas uh, canvas took the background positioning area of the HTML element, and that happens before the transformations are applied, right? That transformations happen as the last step. So background positioning area of the HTML tag essentially is not changing for the canvas. So background positioning area is basically the area in which background images get applied, right? Uh, so that background positioning area stayed the same when the canvas actually referred to that area before the transformation, that is. So even if you change the scale of HTML tag, the background positioning area stays the same, and so the outer circle doesn't get affected, right? However short you can reduce the HTML tag to, nothing would happen. The outer circle stays same, but the HTML is actually shrinking, right? So any child, any children inside the HTML tag would shrink, right? They'll have to shrink. So that is why with the shrinking HTML, the body shrinks too. So that is why we see that the square in the center of the circle, this is a body, right? So the body shrinks with this. So this is the correct amount where the solution, yeah, no, no, was it 645? Yeah, it was 645. Interesting. So, so like the scale was the trickiest part here. The solution uses that very important behavior, how backgrounds get applied to specifically the root element. When it's on the root element, it's like about the canvas root element of the body. So that those three elements have a special case going on with the backgrounds, and the scale basically exploits that behavior. We want to shrink the body, but we don't want to shrink the HTML. So that's what happens here. Though the scale is applying on both, it basically reduces, it basically shrinks body from both the sides. Body has the scale which shrinks it, and then HTML also has a scale less than one which shrinks it further to get the desired amount. And like with all the scaling happening, HTML's background doesn't get affected because it's on the canvas, and the background positioning area isn't affected by the transformation. So that's the trick with the scale. Very interesting, amazing solution. Great. That's something I learned new. I didn't know about the background positioning area and specifically the piece of information that the transformation wouldn't affect the background positioning area for the canvas. Nice. Cool. Let's see the other top solutions if they are the same. Okay, this one is the same, just that instead of 30 VW, this uses 127Q, but both are same four characters, so no change in the overall character count. James's solution is same as well. Very interesting to see, like very um, specific trick with the scale. And I haven't seen this getting used, at least like in the daily targets, we have reverse engineering in the past streams. I don't remember this getting used specifically. So yeah, amazing to see like a lot of players reach the same solution. Super stuff. Okay, yeah, I think the 82 character count solutions, they are all doing the same thing. Let's see Wheat's solution. Sorry, White's solution. Um, this is two characters long than the best solution. And why is that so? Seems to be using the radial gradient. Um, okay. Has a different margin, has a different scale. Let's load it up and see what's happening. Okay, let's just quickly try to see. I'm actually curious, like, though it seems like the same solution, why is it two characters longer? So let's try to debug. Okay, so first of all, okay, this is a little difference here as well. Hmm. Okay, so there's a nested selector. So that means without any HTML element, we just have HTML in the body. And this would apply to the body because it's something inside something, which is only body in our case. So this is just for the body, and this gets applied to everything because that's on the star. Okay, so there's a background on both HTML and body. So this gives us the same thing like the top solution. We get the right size outer circle both on the HTML and the body. And then there is margin. Oh, I see. Okay, so this basically misses the trick, um, that specific trick that the scale wouldn't change anything for the HTML element. And because that trick is missing here, So this solution, White's solution specifically has scale applied to the body. So for that, he had to resort to this nested selector, and so the solution became 2 characters long. Okay, so the approach is same, but there's a very specific technical piece of information that the solution missed. That the scale, even though it gets applied to HTML along with the body, it won't do anything. It won't change anything. So that removes the need for using specific body styles and could have saved 2 characters. Okay, got it. All right. So that's it for this target. We have 10 minutes. We can try to do one more. What do you folks suggest? Anyone has a favorite target from recent weeks that we should do? This one also, I think, was an interesting one, had some different approaches. Again, my understanding is just from the Discord server chats, discussions that were happening there. So we can try this one. Actually, on this live stream, I also wanted to showcase a new feature on the platform. Um it's live, but I'll tell you what it is, but you won't be able to see it yet. So we have launched the badges feature on CSSBattle, and badges are basically very nice looking actual badges sort of thing, which you get on different achievements, on different milestones that you achieve throughout your playing journey. So yeah, that's live. Why you won't see it is because since like a lot of players have achieved a lot of milestones, so we'll have to retrospectively uh, add those badges to your accounts. So that's still in progress. Over the next few hours, a lot of players will start seeing notifications. So you might have noticed this new thing, notifications, where you can see things happening. This just has so this was there earlier, it was removed, it was hidden, but it's back now. For now, it just shows you notifications if someone added you as a friend to their account. So you would see notifications that whoever added you as a friend. And this is the same place you will see notifications about different badges that you earn. So yeah, this is there. Over the course of next few hours, as and when your account gets those badges, you would start seeing notifications here, and then the system to dynamically grant those badges in real time whenever, let's say, you reached a particular streak milestone or a submission count milestone. So in real time, you would get those milestone badges, and you will see them like real time in the notifications as a message on the screen right away. So yeah, that's getting done soon after the live stream that will happen over next few hours. But yeah, that thing is live. So just for you folks on the stream, yeah, that's coming really soon. Um, so yeah, hope you folks like it. Hopefully that will make the gameplay, the whole gaming experience on CSS Battle more fun for you all, uh, and motivate you to play more. Yeah, so that's happening. We want to see one solution for this one. Okay, a lot of different solutions, at least like in terms of character count. The top one is by Henrik. That's 114 characters long. Yeah, a lot of difference. Yeah. Cool. Let's quickly fire this up. Okay. All right. So in case like if someone notices this, the weird casing in the style tag, let me just tell you like it's a hack players use to get their solutions differentiated from different solutions, from other solutions, because let's say if two players get the same solution, exactly same, like word character to character match. If they have the same solution, then only one of those shows in the daily target standings here. So with the small change, they basically you make your solution a little different than the rest ones, just in case someone has the same solution like you. It's a safety measure basically. Okay. Actually realized in the last target we forgot to discuss the trivial solutions that one could use to build the target. And yeah, then we had to move to the top solution, reverse engineering. But yeah, we'll do that here. It's okay. Yeah, I'll shrink this down and increase the font size instead. Yeah, that's much better. Okay. All right, so this is the solution, a little unminified so that we know what's happening. Okay, let's comment out things. All right. So we see again some declarations. Oh yeah, we had to discuss the trivial solutions, right? Okay. So what could we do here? One thing I can think of is we could have two rectangles. Let's say this one is a rectangle, a green rectangle, and then a purple rectangle here. So that would create like simple boxes, one below another. And then we could have two more rectangles of the same color as the background and place them here so that this create those background colored rectangles would create this void we need, right? We could place them here. So that is one solution. Other could be using gradient, I think. So on the body, we could put a gradient that starts from here as green, goes till here, then a little bit of background color, or maybe transparent if you have brown on the HTML element itself. So this could be a transparent gradient color stop, and then a purple. And if you shrink body by giving this as the margin, then you basically have this box with the green, the transparent, and the purple. But then for this void, again, it could be two rectangles of the background color, same as background color, just like in the previous approach. So yeah, that could be two trivial approaches that one could use to create this target. Okay, let's move to the top solution by Henrik. All right, so this doesn't use any HTML tag. It has some declaration on the universal selector. So that means gets applied on HTML and body both. Okay, so first of all, it sets a background on the HTML and the body tag. And this is the same background as the background color. It's the same color as the background color. So that gets applied to both. Um, should we do the margin or the box shadow first? Let's do the box shadow. That's more visual, so we'll see what's happening. Okay. It uses three box shadows. Remember, this is getting applied again on body and HTML both. So let's see what's happening. Okay. Let's try to see it on the body tag first. That makes it a little more simpler to understand what's happening. Okay, so we know that the first two arguments for the box shadow are the offset, the x offset and the y offset, and then the color. Right. Let's just put in some spacing here. Okay, so there's the first box shadow on the body element. Remember now, this is the body, right? This is our body. So first it puts a shadow of the green color, and the offset is a very big number as the offset, right? So since it's minus, it would go upwards, right? Um, so 55 VW is around half the height of screen. So it would put a green um, box shadow on top of body, right? A green color box sort of thing on top of body. So we can see what's happening actually if we can reduce this a bit to make it more visible. What can we do? What if I shrink the body a bit? Okay. Yeah, so this is the body right now. We have shrunk it to zero point 0.3 the original dimension, 0.3 times the original dimension use the scale, right? So we can see what's happening because the numbers, the offset are too big to visualize otherwise. So this is body. The first box shadow puts literally half the size of the body height uh, shadow um, in green color, right? So that's what you see on top here. Sorry, I want to disable this. Yeah. So you see this green color? That's basically the box shadow on body. It's upwards because of the negative Y offset, and that's the green color offset. That the green color box because of the shadow. Then there is another shadow, and this is supposed to be the purple color one. It's also no offset on the X direction and some offset in negative Y direction. So then again, this means like this shadow would be on top of the body because it goes upwards. I think probably lesser, yeah, lesser than 55 VW. So yeah, purple shadow smaller than the green one, same direction upwards. But you don't see that here. I think because is it below? Is it below the green shadow? I think so. Um, yeah, I think this gets applied in the direction in the order. It gets rendered in the reverse order of what's written here. So this would get applied first, this would get rendered first, second, and then this would get rendered the last. So this overshadows the other shadow, other box shadows, probably. We can verify that. So if I make this, so this is 55 VW, we'll get this back. Okay, we wanted to scale down body a bit. That got removed. Yeah, so that was the reason. When I shrunk when I reduced the offset of the green shadow, you can see now the green is here and the purple is here, right? So because this was a big offset, so green just overlaps purple. Okay, and this is another smaller number, and this has a shadow of the background color, right? Just to make it more visible, let's put in red. Okay, so it's in a different direction. So 2 inch in the positive Y direction, which means below the body, we would get a shadow of this color, red right now. But yeah, let's keep it red. We'll change it to the background color at the end. But for understanding purposes, let's keep it red. Okay, so this is the state with a little bit modifications here. This is what we have. The body is here. We have two shadows above the body because of the negative Y offsets, and then red color shadow below it because of this. Now let's get it back to the right value. It was 55 VW. Cool. So this is what we get, the body here, and then the two color shadows that show up. Now we have some margin getting applied on the body. So this is exactly okay. Yeah, this. So there's a 65% margin on the top side, 75 pixels on the left and right, and minus 50 on the bottom side, right? So positive margins we know pushes the element, so it shrinks the size. So the body would like shrink from the top side because of the 65%. It would shrink from the left and right sides by 75 pixels. But on the bottom side, it would increase by 50 pixels because it's a negative margin. So the bottom side would be pulled downwards and thereby increasing the size, the height of the body specifically. So let's see if that happens. Okay, that's weird. What just happened? Why did the green and the purple box shadows suddenly um why are they like showing up differently with this? So the green box shadow was supposed to be overlapping the purple shadow, but after the margin, they somehow show at different places. Okay, let's see. Okay, so nothing is being done on the HTML because we have everything on the body for our debugging purposes. All right, so let's try to get to the values step by step again so that we understand what's happening. Let's reduce it to 0, this also to a small number, and then this also to a small number. Okay, so the top margins is supposed to be like it's supposed to push the body downwards. So that's what's happening. Nothing changes visually except for the body moving downwards. Right, so the top. Okay, that's interesting. So you see what's happening. This is body, right? Okay, so the top margin starts increasing, and as the margin keeps increasing, the body keeps moving downwards. And then at this point, something different happens, right? Something strange happens. You start seeing the purple color for some reason. After 19% of margin, the purple color starts showing. Why is that? Um, so the green box shadow is 55 VW. VW doesn't change with our margin. It's the viewport width. The purple one is 5 times of the line height. Line height doesn't also change. It stays the same. Then why do the box shadows differ after a while? Okay, this is a body. What just happened? Okay, I'll just increase the scale a bit. Maybe that helps. So this is the case normally. We have the body, the blue area that you see, that's the body. The orange shaded area above that, that's the margin on the body, which is 20% right now, the top margin. So yes, so this is the normal case. The body in the center, the blue area, that's the body. When we increase the top margin, you can see the orange area extended and the body shrinking. right? So body height is reducing. Okay, at this point, at this point, the purple box shadow moves with body, but the green doesn't. Why is that? Anyone has an idea what's happening? Why do the box shadows suddenly sort of separate? They were supposed to stick to the body, to the top edge, top side of the body, but they don't seem to do that anymore. So that's the body. Don't get it. Maybe we can do a small experiment elsewhere. So this is something we have. We don't need HTML. So if for the body, we'll actually need to make a body with 100 VH, I think. Okay, Joe says something. 3 different units in question there. Yes, VW, line height, and inches. Yeah, but with margin, none of those changes, right? I mean, the viewport width stays same, the line height stays same. That shouldn't get affected with the dimension of the body. And so is the inch unit. That is a constant. Then what's happening? Oh, this is supposed to be height. Seems to be working. Is it this? Oh, I don't need to put the style. Okay, this is it. That's the background here. FA. Okay, so this is the body. By default, it would look like this. The body because of the height, the body is just overlapping HTML, I think, here. What can we do? Let's make it a random height, I think. Yeah, okay. So this is the body. Let's put in some margin. Okay. And if we shrink the body a little bit, we can see what's happening. So this is the body. It has a big green box shadow, which doesn't seem to be showing here. Yeah, why does the purple one show? Hmm. What if I change this? Okay, so uh, we have a negative y offset purple shadow. Let's make it a big one. And then green is the topmost box shadow, so that is supposed to overlap um, the purple one, right? So if I keep increasing, you can see the purple one starts hiding behind. The green one starts showing on the top, right? And now if I keep increasing, the green one only should show. Now let's do it in terms of VW. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so now it shouldn't affect, but it's getting affected. What just happened? Okay, that's weird. All right, so uh it made sense this till this offset. So what we're doing, what you're saying is, okay, I see. So the box shadow that you create on any element, it's exactly the same size as the element, right? So this is a body, right? This is a body, the part that you see in the background color. Let us do one thing. Let's give background a different color. Let's make it white, and now you can see the body. So the brown area in the in the center, that's body, and any box shadow that we created would be the same size as the body, right? Exactly this sized rectangle. And with the offset, we are just like positioning the that color box shadow uh, on different positions, right? So the green box shadow originally, when you don't have anything, let's say let's put it at 0. The green box shadow is right behind the element, right? The shadows are always behind the element. So it's right behind the body tag, and we are slowly moving it upwards because of the negative y offset. So the green box shadow is suddenly like appearing from behind the body. It keeps moving upwards, right? As you like move it in the y direction, negative y direction, it keeps moving upwards, but it has a set height, right? So after a while, it will just move upward and you won't see the green shadow anymore. So it's moving up, it's moving up. Now, it's like limited height, as I said, and it keeps going upwards because of the negative y offset. So now it's just moving up, right? It's no more behind the body tag. It's moving up. Now it's completely gone, right? You can see it moves up more, more, more. Right? Now it's out of the screen. It's just moving upwards, and since it's now out of the screen, you can't see it anymore. So basically, 55 VW has sent that green shadow like very far in the y direction, in the negative y direction, like basically upwards from the body, very far, right? Now this is the blue shadow, the purple shadow. That's again, it was minus 5 LH, right? So it keeps showing here. We have the body here, the purple shadow here, and then the green shadow, it's somewhere here, right? Very far from away from the body. And then there is this shadow, which is here. Okay, so yeah, I missed that point. Like the box shadows are exactly the same size as the element. So if you keep just moving, keep just increasing the offset, it would just vanish at a certain point from the viewport, right? Because it's too far. Okay, so that's what happens here. We have So this is what we have, the body with a small box shadow. This kept increasing, so the green keeps coming upwards, right? And then at a certain point, keeps moving up, and then it reaches here. And this is the purple shadow. And then we have something here, uh, just below the body, right? We have it as red for understanding, but yeah, there's some shadow below the body tag. Okay, now let's see. We were debugging the margin thing, right? So if this is small, this is what we have. Okay, so this is the case right now. Why does the green one show? Yeah, okay. So we are slowly moving the green shadow upwards, and we get it to this point, the purple shadow being behind the green shadow. Okay, now the top margin comes into play. So we can see the body moving downwards. So the body keeps moving downwards. Let's do this here while our body is highlighted. So the body keeps moving downwards because of the top margin. Okay. Okay, so this is the place where I'm stuck. Um, why is the top margin doing any difference to the box shadow? So this is currently the body. Because of the top margin, hmm, why is the blue box shadow away from the body? Ah, okay. Okay, I think I get it. So, remember, the box shadow is exactly the same height as the element on which it is. So when we didn't have any margin, let's say if I make it very small, so the body is exactly this dimension. You can see 150 by 180, right? So we are talking specifically, we are concerned with specifically the height because the box shadows are being moved in the y direction only. So the box shadows, doesn't matter the green one or the blue one or the red one, they're exactly 150 by 180. 180 because that's the height of the body. Now, when the margins uh, and without the margin, this is how it looks, right? The green has been sent to some offset above, the blue to a smaller offset above, and the red one is below the body. Cool, all good till here. So now when we increase the top margin of the body is basically being pushed down and the height is getting reduced because the top edge is being pushed down. So with the increasing top margin, the body's height gets shrinked continuously, right? You can see 136, 134, 132. Now, because the body itself is getting shrunk, at least in the height, at least height-wise, so all the box shadows of the body are also reducing in height, right? Their height is also reducing because the uh, body's height is reducing. So with this increasing margin, the shadows become smaller and smaller height-wise. And at a certain point, the the shadows become so thin, right? We're talking about the y direction. The shadows become so thin that they are, because of the position, because of the offset they are set at, they first of all separate out from the body, and then they separate amongst themselves as well, right? So initially they were like starting from the body, and then the green one was overlapping the purple one because they were like they had a good height, so the green one could overlap the purple one. But with um, increasing margin, the top margin on the body is now very thin, right? Exactly at this uh, margin, top margin, you can see the body is very thin, and so are their box shadows. They are very thin. And with these offset, this is how it would show. Minus 5 LH, 5 LH is a smaller number. So the purple one shows a little bit near the body. This is the body, right? If you see the blue area highlighted, uh, above which there is like orange, big orange area, that's the margin, the top margin, and left, right ones. So above the body is the purple shadow, and then above that is the green shadow because that's at minus 55 VW, which is a bigger number than 5 LH. So that's basically all this is to position the box shadows in the way you see them right now, right? And there's a specific number for here as well. What was it? So the margin was 65%, 75 pixels, and minus 50, right? So this is minus 50. So that basically it increases the body height again because it pulls the bottom edge downwards because of the negative margin. So it increases the body height. So this is the case now. The top margin, shrunk the body height. It made it very thin, and so the box shadows became very thin. But then with negative, you can see that happening here. So with the negative bottom margin, the body starts increasing in height again because the bottom edge is being pulled down. So the body starts gaining height again, and so do the box shadows. All the box shadows on the body, they start increasing in height. And then at this specific number, this is what we get, right? And now if we remove the scale, so this is what we would get. So basically, the backgrounds, the box shadows with these specific margins basically create these two rectangles, um, which we were talking about in our trivial approaches that we discussed. We wanted two rectangles of these colors positioned here, right? And then we wanted to create the voids in both the rectangles. So up till now, if we put these declarations on the body, we get those rectangles. That's what is happening with these numbers, right? But remember, um the solution didn't do it just for the body tag. it, so you can see, if I remove the scale, we get the rectangles exactly, right dimensions and the right position. But the solution didn't have it just for the body. So it happened, the declarations are being applied on both HTML and the body. So now if I make this universal selector again, you would see some difference here. And that's because if the margins start getting applied to HTML and to the body both, the dimensions would change, right? And you would see here why. Now, if you see, the HTML has those margins applied. So it has moved down, it has reduced in X direction, it has reduced in Y direction as well, it is shortened in the Y direction as well. And because the HTML uh, changes, the dimension of the HTML tag changes, the children also change their dimension. And so now the body is positioned elsewhere, right? When the same thing starts getting applied to HTML. So this is what we get if the same thing also applies to HTML. And let's try to hide the body and see what exactly do we have on HTML. Okay, that changes nothing. So we can't see any change because if you notice, the body is actually um, below the viewport, so you don't see anything. Is that so? No, it's actually zero height. That's why you don't see any box shadows on it. So with these specific values, even though HTML has some height, you can see it's 112.5 pixels. So that's why it has these box shadows, but the body has become uh, 0 pixels in height. And so it doesn't have any box shadow. So that's where this declaration comes in, which applies specifically to um, star inside star, which means a nested element, which is just the body. So now we want to position the body and also like have it right dimensions at the right position. So the body is what would create the voids, if I'm right. So the HTML got us these two rectangles, but now we set appropriate margins on the body to get it upwards, first of all, and also increase its height because with those margins on the universal selector, it got to zero height, right? Which just disappeared the box shadows on it. So we start increasing the height of the body. We also pull it upwards so that we get these two voids that we position on the rectangles of the HTML element. So I think that's what's happening, but we can see. So with the margins applied, this is what our body becomes. So you can see the body, the orange area is the margin of the body, and it has two box shadows. One second. So the red box shadow, how does it show up here? Hmm. Let's do some specific things to the body so that we can see what's happening. So it has a good bottom margin, so that would push the bottom edge of the body upwards. And then it has a negative margin on the top. So basically, we pull the body together upwards. Where exactly is the body? The orange part that we see, that's supposed to be the margin. But where is the body being highlighted? Oh, okay. The blue area, the void, that's the body. Okay, so you will see it better this way. Let's make it uh, crimson. Yeah, so now you would see. Let's make it white. So that's the body. So the body with these dimensions make up this void, right? This particular rectangle here, that is that is the dimension we want the body to be, and that is the place where we want the body to be. So you can see the white color body is exactly placed at the first void, the top void, and because these box shadows get applied to the body as well, they created these two rectangles on HTML. They create the same box shadows on the body as well. But because the body is positioned quite up in the viewport, the body's green and the purple box shadow we won't see because they are outside the viewport, right? They have gone upwards outside the body, and all we see is the red box shadow, which is the bottom box shadow. So the bottom box shadow plays role only for the body, and the first two box shadows play role only for the HTML element, right? So that's the trick. Even though the same declaration is being applied to HTML and body both, it doesn't work exactly, at least visually, for both the elements. So they create the two rectangles, the two boxes for the HTML element, and it creates the shadows create the voids on the body, right? So if we get the colors back again, so that so if we remove white, it's the background color by default, so that's the first white, and the bottom um, box shadow is again supposed to be white, so that's the same background color right here as well. Oh, super interesting solution. Super interesting. Like there's like if you compare with the top solution of the previous target, there's no trickery involved here, as in you don't need a lot of understanding about how CSS properties work or very specific behavior of a property. There are simple properties here like background margin, box shadows, but the whole approach, the creativity that is there in the solution is mind-boggling, right? Thinking that you would first of all have three box shadows and those get applied to both HTML and body, and same box shadows on two elements creating different visuals altogether, right? That to visualize that is the crux of the solution, the main uh, superbness of the solution, right? Totally amazing. Yeah, amazing stuff, Henrik. Cool. So we have figured out two daily targets. Pretty interesting targets, pretty interesting solutions, like uh, to be precise. Learned a lot from both the solutions. I hope you folks had fun too and learned a few things. Um, yeah, amazing. Nice. Cool. So we are almost, yeah, we are already above time. It was a great fun stream. Hope you folks had fun too. Chris says, "Hey Chris, thank you for joining in. Um, Interesting indeed. Yeah, simple but highly creative approach. I mean, I'm not sure like how players can even imagine such a thing. I'm like just thinking how many attempts would have this, I mean, would have been required to reach here. Or maybe it's just like the way you see a particular target and then you can visualize it straight away. I'm not sure. Only Henrik can tell us, or if anyone has had the same solution. So, okay, no one had the same solution. The other ones are all different. I missed the first part, but this was very interesting. I will need to work hard on my solution. Yeah, yeah, we all need to. Uh, Crazy. Cool. So yeah, that would be it for this live stream. I'll see you probably, hopefully, next Saturday on another live stream where we try to reverse engineer some new targets and learn more about CSS and the whole uh, creative approach that goes on building the solutions, these kind of solutions for the targets. All right, and we'll probably have the badges live by tomorrow. So everyone should be able to see some interesting badges on their profiles. Hope you like that. I'm in the Discord for any sort of feedback that you might have. And even regarding the stream, if you folks think we should add something more, if we need to change something, need to remove something, if anything needs improvement in the streams that we do let me know in the chat here on the Discord. Anyway, um, I'll be happy to make changes and make this more interesting. Cool. So yeah, that would be it. I'll see you next Saturday, hopefully. Till then, have fun. Have a good weekend. I'll see you next Saturday. Bye bye.